Well, a lot of us are used to being able to use Uber or Ola if you're anywhere in the world to get your cab. Of course, the Isle of Man does have one particular company that has their own, but now we're going to be joined from Holland by Mr. Jake Murtagh, who is a software developer and an entrepreneur. And Jacob, you've been actually developing a system for people who have their own taxis, is that right? People who want to get on board, that you can now dial up a cab in the Isle of Man on your phone.
Yeah, so essentially when I first created Via, first started looking at Via when I was 17, we were all stuck in, what was the traditional taxis really, where you call up and hopefully you've got credit and you've got signal. And now we've got this app which allows users and drivers to sort of connect through this app, and they don't need to call. They just type in where they're going, pick what type of car they want, and press request now. They'll see the estimated fare, and that's essentially how they're able to book their rides now with Via.
And you come up with this. I mean, you've actually written all the software and been behind the whole thing.
So essentially, when I turned 17, I had absolutely no idea of coding, knew nothing about it, knew the end idea, knew what I wanted in my head, and I didn't actually then go and code the entire app myself. I researched how I can put these pieces together, did what I could myself, and then we went out and I essentially looked for some developers to finish the job almost. I was only 17 at the time, doing a business A level, and it was a big challenge with software like this to be able to suddenly be able to learn how to code it all yourself. So my main job was, looking at the basics of the code and putting my idea that was in my head onto the App Store, and then getting some assistance from developers along the way.
I should point out you're at university, I believe, in Holland. That's why we're talking to you there. You're still learning.
Yeah, so I went to university in Liverpool when I was 19, and it just wasn't for me. And I got to January, and I just realised that this isn't my cup of tea. And I then decided to look at universities in Europe and abroad. And I decided that actually The Hague is the city for me, and I applied to university, got in, I moved straight here, and absolutely loving it since. It's been brilliant. So that's another great thing about technology as well, is that I'm sat here in Holland talking to you, who's in Australia, and able to run a business that's operating in the Isle of Man. And the great thing about Via as well is I wanted it built so that it can be ran and rolled out in any jurisdiction in the world whenever we want, at any time, and incredibly easy. So that's essentially how it was built, with the future in mind, that it wasn't just for someone working in an office in the Isle of Man. As if I decide, let's go away, I can work out of Holland, say, like I am now. And obviously I've got a great team at home assisting also, and also with the app is we can roll Via out in any jurisdiction. So right now it's currently Isle of Man. Once we finish with the Isle of Man launch, we can then go and roll out anywhere. Yes.
So this is the test bed, the Isle of Man, to see how it goes, and then, as you say, you've got global potential.
I wouldn't call the Isle of Man a test bed. The Isle of Man was the reason I set this up, and I want to see it work in the Isle of Man, and we are here to stay, and we are here to make it work. And we will do everything in our power to ensure that it works in the Isle of Man, because when I started this, I wasn't happy with the service I was getting. I didn't think that it was good. The Isle of Man people had a good enough option, and from our market research, a lot of the Isle of Man population agree. And that's not just the Isle of Man population in terms of users; it's also the drivers. The drivers didn't feel like they were having a good opportunity as well with their own taxis and the offers that they were getting given. So we kind of merged it all together and saw what we could put together and came up with Via, and this is the product. And it's I wouldn't say it's a test bed, but it does give us a sort of good idea of how we can roll it out in future jurisdictions. But we do, we are here to stay, and the Isle of Man is my primary at the moment, and will always be my primary, because it's where I'm from, it was where I was brought up, it's where the idea was created, and it's what this is the solution to fix what I felt were the problems in the industry.
And if people who know, like an Uber app, is it similar to that sort of thing?
So it's a similar concept, and it's the same with Uber, Ola, Lyft. All the ride facilitation apps. All they do is they connect a user who's wanting to go somewhere with a driver who's willing to take them. Via's the same. We use the technology, and it's exactly the same. So in a sense, yes, except we're a lot fairer with our drivers, and we want to look after our drivers. that's been the one of the goals from the outset. And through any previous media releases that I've done, it's what I've always talked about is we want to look after our drivers, we want to support them, we want to have their back, we want to do what's great for them as well. The driver, we want to make sure that the drivers are happy with Via equally also.
Are you going to make your millions out of this, or are you going to have other ideas, or have you got other ideas for other applications as well?
Via's just the start. Via IOM, with the cabs, it's just the start. When I was 17, I started developing Via. I found that my mind started to race, and once I was starting developing Via, I wanted to go on to other things. But the thing was, I wanted to see the Via IOM through before I started working on other stuff. So there is a lot more coming, but currently that's all on hold. I want to make sure that the Via app that we've released now is perfect. I want to release that everybody, make sure that everybody's happy with it. And then once we've established a sort of market here and everybody's happy with the app and we've got it running quite nicely, then we'll start to work on the other ideas that I have.
I can't wait to come back and talk to you in a few years' time about this.
It'll be very interesting, actually. That'll be very interesting looking back on now as I'm sat in my university room in Holland trying to launch Via, and let's see what else we release in a couple of years. So yeah, it'll be very exciting.
Okay, finally, people go to the app stores. What do they look for?
Yeah, so it's very, very easy for people to download. So all you'd have to type in on the App Store, the Play Store, is Via IOM. It pops straight up with the two apps. You've got the Via IOM and Via IOM Driver. The Driver app is, obviously just for the drivers, the people who want to drive with us, and the one for our passengers is just Via IOM. And also you can visit us on Facebook at Via, and you can also, there's links to the App Stores and Play Stores there, and coming soon as well is there'll be QR codes on the side of all of our cars, on the side of our Via fleet on the island, that people can scan with their smartphones, and it'll take them to the appropriate stores. So if you see one of our Via cars sat out on the street, or you see them stopped, go up to the side of them, open your camera, scan the QR code, and it will open the App Store for you automatically, and you just press download now and create an account. So yeah, so they're the many ways that you can download the app.